Now I'm going to ask Jeff about, is United States of America sitting on the fence on Syria? In my understanding, they are not. Why? Because they are holding the most important card in the issue of Syria, which is sanctions. Even when the Europeans wanted to ease the sanctions, eventually the Americans are the people who are going to, give the final approval or not. So they are not. They are taking position. The fact that Syria, after 4 months, is at this moment in time suffering from sanctions, and the current government, which we are demanding them to show all kinds of flexibilities, cannot provide to the people even daily food, it means we are not on the fence. What is the grand strategy of the United States of America in Syria? And how do you see the game played right now by Trump administration?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it's important for us to understand where this entire war came from. It did not come from Bashar al-Assad. It came from Washington. There was a decision in 2011 to overthrow Assad. Actually, that came from Jerusalem. This has been a desire of the Israeli government that stretches back more than 25 years. Netanyahu's idea is make the Middle East in Israel's image, overthrow every government that opposes Israel. He's had a friend in that, and that is the CIA and the United States government. So this war in Syria did not come from Assad's repression. It did not come from Assad's dictatorship. This war came from a presidential order by Obama to overthrow Assad, starting in the spring of 2011. We have a name for this program. It was Operation Timber Sycamore. The United States, together with other countries in this region, trained fighters, especially jihadists, including the ones that just took power, to overthrow the regime. This created chaos. 600,000 dead in Syria in a war that has gone on for 14 years. The outcome of this war is what the CIA wanted back in 2011, which is that a jihad group would take power in Syria after being armed by the United States. The reason I want to be clear about this is that we will not have peace in this region until we have public diplomacy that is based on real diplomacy, not on CIA operations. And we will not have peace until Israel stops its militarization of the entire Middle East. Because the Syrian war is just one of 6 wars that Israel has promoted, including in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Somalia, and Sudan. We had the list, actually, from Wesley Clark back in 2001, when he was handed a paper in the Pentagon that the goal was 7 wars in 5 years. The only war that hasn't taken place yet, to Netanyahu's great consternation, is the US war with Iran, which Israel is still trying to instigate to this very day. So the Syrian war is part of a regional tragedy. We have tragedy in Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Sudan, South Sudan, and Libya that I put at the hands of the United States government and its ally Israel, because none of these wars had to happen. These were all wars of choice. They were all wars that came from the idea of regime change operations, that the United States would determine which regimes operate in which countries. We'll never have peace in this region if outside imperial powers like the United States are dictating the terms to this region. The only way to have peace in this region is if This region is determining its own future, not outside powers. And Israel could never do these wars on its own. These are American wars. America provides the financing, it provides the military backup, it provides the naval support, it provides the intelligence operations, it provides the munitions. Israel couldn't fight for one day without the United States backing. Israel could not be committing a genocide in Gaza without the United States' full operational complicity. I don't mean political complicity, I mean direct, daily operational complicity. This has to end. This region has been divided for 100 years, first by the British Empire and then by the American Empire. And this is going on until today. We have a genocide going on right next door. Till today, till this morning. People being wantonly killed, brazenly killed, because the United States is providing the means for this. So this is what's happening in Syria. Is the US on the fence? Hardly. It's the major actor. I know, by the way, I know firsthand that in 2012, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon appointed former Secretary General Kofi Annan as special envoy to reach a peace in Syria. I loved Kofi Annan. I love Ban Ki-moon. I worked for both of them. Kofi Annan arranged a peace in 2012. He arranged a peace in Syria. You know why it didn't happen? Because all the parties agreed to peace except one. Literally one. That was the United States of America. The United States of America said there will be no peace unless Bashar al-Assad goes the first day. The other parties said, no, you can't just determine that. Maybe there'll be a process, maybe there'll be elections agreed, maybe there'll be a 2-year process, a 3-year process. The United States said no. Assad must go the first day of any agreement or we block it. And so Kofi Annan stepped down from his position after having negotiated a peace arrangement, and we have had 500,000 people dead since then. We should not allow this kind of criminality to be normal. This region has been at war nonstop for 30 years. Actually, I would say for at least 57 years since the Six-Day War, because there has been no honest accounting of international law, no honest diplomacy. It's been militarization all the way through. And we could have peace immediately in this region. All that is required, in my view, is the United States change its veto of Palestine as the 194th UN member state, because on that basis, all the region would normalize relations and the wars all across this region would stop. But Israel has had control over US policy, and it says no. It wants greater Israel. It wants Israel in Syria. It wants Israel in Lebanon. It wants Israel in the West Bank. It wants Israel in East Jerusalem.
Mr. Sachs.
I gave you the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am not discussing the agency of the Syrian people. I'm discussing the opposite. Do not be naive. Do not think that 600,000 people died because of Assad and the protesters. This was a war. Wars are expensive. They require billions of dollars. They require armaments. And I'm not talking about a conspiracy theory. I'm talking about a conspiracy. And you should know. Everybody go look up Operation Timber Sycamore. Understand what happened in your region. And if you think that calling in the CIA is going to do the bidding of agency in this region, you are sadly mistaken. This region has been manipulated by Britain, France, and the United States for 100 years since the Versailles Treaty. It will not have safety or peace until the United States is out of this region through manipulation and war. You all say, well, it's Israel doing this. It's the same thing I'm talking about. It's the same reason for Operation Timber Sycamore. It's not an independent fact. It's the reason why this happened. I'm the last to denigrate agency. I'm telling you exactly the opposite. If you think your big friend, the United States, is going to do your bidding and help you get your way, empires divide to rule. They are not doing the bidding of Turkey or Syria or Lebanon or anybody else in this region. And if this is, yes, you want to balance Persia or Iran, you call in the United States to do that, and you think this is going to work out well? It's not going to work out well. This region has three major powers: the Arab world, the Turkish world, and the Persian world. It's been more than 1,000 years this way. I said to Iranian diplomats that Iran has been 5,000 years. I was corrected, 7,000 years. It's a long story. You don't need the United States to pull the chestnuts out of the fire. And don't believe that this happened because of agency of the Syrian people. I'm sorry, I'm not denigrating the Syrian people, just the opposite. I know what happened. I know what my country does. I suspect most of you do too. And it should not be ignored, because the wars are going to continue until we have real agency, not pseudo-agency. And by the way, there is no international community. We're trying to make one, but it doesn't exist right now. That's the tragedy in this world. There is no community. There are interests. There are militaries. There are regime change operations. This is not community. We need real community. And by the way, I give every day my volunteer time to the UN for 25 years because I believe in it. It's my life commitment. So I believe in community. I also happen to know that the United States blocked the agreement in 2012. I'm sorry, I won't elaborate. But the United States blocked it, and I know it.
Well, I know it too, Joe.
I know,
Okay.
but I know it from Kofi, sorry.
Perfect.
I too.
Carl.
Yeah, maybe just to bring back to the people who certainly has agency and is suffering. I think there is a general sense now out there that everything is getting worse and there's nothing that can be done. And I think my main point here today is that that might be true in many contexts, but in Syria that's not true. In Syria there is now an opportunity to make a difference, and we know how that difference can be made. And what we suggest is to, while there needs to be efforts in parallel, really start with alleviating the suffering of the Syrian people. It can be done in concrete ways. There is surplus grain in Ukraine that can next week be shipped to Turkey to be milled and brought to bakeries, to have them start within the next couple of weeks to put bread and fresh bread into millions of Syrian hands. And so, there are concrete things that can be done tomorrow, and frankly, the cost of that is minimal if you compare to the broader scheme of things here. So that's our appeal, really, to invest in the Syrian people, to do it now and to do it concretely.
Thank you very much, Carl. And let me just make my final comment on this, if you allow me. Humiliation is one of the most serious factors when humiliation affects nations with depth of civilization. I think China is a great example of that. Japan as well was a great example of that. This region has gone through a century of humiliation that has never been seen before within the configurations of a civilization that one day thought of itself to be one of the most important civilizations. Since Versailles, since the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, the vacuum created in this region led to dictatorship, led to international interference in our land, to fragmentation, to artificial boundaries and borders, to artificial ideologies that were never brought up from within the soil of this earth. What we have been through in 100 years is horrendous. And if we are going to move forward, yes, I agree that we need to own our own destiny. But before that, we need to detoxify our brains as well from being only just followers of the Western powers in particular and the international powers and seeking solution in Washington or in London or in Paris or wherever it is. So yes, I think this region has resilience and this region has civilizational depth. And this region will regain eventually its destiny. And I think what we are seeing in the next few years and decades is a new generation of people who are aware at least of what has happened to them, to their fathers, to their grandfathers, and I don't think they will accept to continue living under this kind of humiliation. So Syria will be stabilized by the people of Syria. Definitely they are very creative. This is a country where all civilizations in this part of the world has met. This is a country that was manufactured by the most important ideologies, religions, thoughts, and the trends of history. So it is going to own its destiny, and the whole region is going to do the same as well. And when that happens, a new order is going to be created.
Bravo.
Thank you very much. Thank you.